record to this computer. Here we go. I don't know if it's recording. Is it recording?
I don't think so. It usually tells us.
I'm recording right now, but
okay. Well, mine doesn't go through, then yours will. All right. So this is me making Breakout. So I have this one
Hold
here.
on.
I'm just gonna close
I'm
out
gonna
of
stop
this.
it and re-record. So there's a whole nother file.
Okay, you can do that. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to go to desktop. I'm going to go here, and then I have my projects. I'm just going to go ahead and make. I have one called Breakout. Oh, that's right. I made this with you guys before, or I started to. So I already have one called Breakout. I don't think I actually ever made
just to
it.
make a blank 3D space, then call it Breakout, and that's where you stopped.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, what I would normally do is go to your projects, make a folder called Breakout, and then inside of there, we would make our project. So I'd open up Unity, and is it in here? I don't. There you go. Cone Breakout is what I named it. So I would just do a new project, and then I would click on. I'd give it a name called Breakout or something, and navigate to the folder that I wanted it to be in, that Breakout, which would be right here. But I already have that, so I'm just going to go ahead and select that one, and I will open that up, and it will take a moment. And then we'll start banging this out. So I'm going to do it kind of the same way that I told you guys to do it. I'm just going to make a real quick sort of prototype, and then I'll just sort of clean up the script, and then clean up clean up the game mechanics, make them a little more nuanced, and then I will go through and add the polish, add audio effects.
Should we ask you questions as you go through, or should we just let you
yeah,
go
you can
about it
ask
your own way?
questions. Yeah, if you got any questions or you want me, that's fine. I mean, this is for you guys, so you can make the video longer.
I got script questions.
Okay.
I just had a really cool idea I want to try.
Okay. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do is it has that sample scene. I like to just go right ahead and make a new scene, and I just create, and then I will just save, or we could just save it. I don't know why I did new scene, and I will just save it as level 01. Voila. So now we're on level 01. That's all set up. I just need to make my walls and such. I think what I'm gonna do is take the camera and instead of skybox with a clear flag, just gonna use solid color. And let's just make this gray for right now, because it's how I feel. Good, there we got the game here. Okay, so we need walls and all that other stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create a 3D object, and I will do a cube, and we will take that and basically extend it. So I will make this, come on, let's do it this way. We'll just call this one top wall, not J-top, top wall. And I'm just going to go ahead and scale it first on X to make sure it is the full length. I'm also going to change this and just do 16:9, so that way it's pretty consistent, and we'll just use that as my guide. So we'll make it roughly, we'll say 20. Make it a nice clean number, and then it needs to go up. So I'm just going to take the position here and go up, and we'll go up to, let's say 7. That seems to be right where it is. Okay, I am just going to take that and duplicate it, and we'll call this one bottom wall. Shoink. Okay. Just so you guys are aware too, I don't feel very well. So my son's home sick. I'm actually kind of sick too. So if I end up getting up and walking out, if I'm more than 5 minutes, I would just log off because I'm feeling kind of nauseous. Just so you know. So anyway, I'm gonna put -7 because if it's +7 up there, it means it would be -7 going down. So I got bottom wall and top wall, and then I'm going to go ahead and we'll just make another one. It's just easier to do it this way. Cube, and we'll call this one left wall. And I'm going to take my scale here, and we will just make sure that it goes. We'll just say 14. It's a good clean number. And then I just want to make sure that goes to, not Y, sorry. That was rotation. That didn't make any sense. Bring it over here, and we'll put it right at, say, -11. No, let's do -10. See, that's not quite off. 10.5. 10.5. Okay. Take that, duplicate it, which is just Control D for those of you guys that don't remember that. And then we'll just go ahead and do right wall, and this will just be a +10. Okay. Yay. Then just to make things easier, I'm just going to create an empty, and we'll just call it walls. And we'll take all these guys and we'll just drag it into that, and voila, now the walls are in there. The other thing we're gonna need is a paddle and a ball. So I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll create another 3D object. It's gonna go ahead and use the cube again. And I am just gonna call this paddle. And we will make it, let's do 0.5 by 0.5 by 0.5, 0.5. And then I am just going to stretch it out a little bit. So we'll stretch it like, say 2. It's a good solid number. And I'm just gonna move it down. One of the things I forgot about that actually would be better is that if you look at my camera, it's gonna be mine. It's +1 on Y. I'd rather have that at 0, just so that it's
Why are your
zeroed out.
Z's all at -10?
Because if you look at the scene, the camera has to be behind. So if this was on origin, you wouldn't see it. See what I'm saying? So the camera automatically starts at a -10.
Did you change something on your camera?
No, I just zeroed out my Y, but it doesn't actually matter. It just makes it so that it's, because before, by default, they try to do optical center, so it's up 1 unit. So by
Okay.
default, it's 1 here. I just made it 0, so that way, you notice that when I took my walls here and I positioned them, the top wall's 7, and the bottom wall's -7. Well,
Yeah.
now they're actually offset the same amount.
Because mine are like way different than what you got.
Well, yours might be different. I mean,
Yeah, I'll play around with it. No,
yeah.
no worries. I'll play around with it later.
So, okay, I'm gonna take the position here on the Y, and I'm just gonna go, oops, make sure I'm on the paddle, and we'll just go down to, let's say, I don't know, let's do -4. That's good enough. I like clean numbers. Okay, so -4, that's the paddle. Rest of that's fine. Let's go ahead and make the ball. So create 3D object, sphere, and we'll just call this ball. And that's too big, so probably 0.75, I think is what we did before, 0.75 and 0.75. And oh, make sure I zero out all these positions. 0. For that matter, yeah, that one was already zeroed. I don't know why that one was. I think the ball's still too big, so I'm gonna hit the little lock thing here and make them all 0.5. There we go. We'll just go with that, and we'll take the ball and I'm just gonna lower it a little bit, like here. And actually, now I think about it, that paddle's gotta go farther down. So let's do -5. That's better. And then we'll take the ball and I'm just gonna move that a little bit. We'll say -4. Good. Okay. So now we got that. That looks pretty good. And the other thing we're gonna need are our bricks. So I'm just gonna go ahead, create 3D object, cube, call this one brick. And we're just gonna have 1 brick to start with because I don't really need the other ones. I'm gonna zero this out, 0, 0, 0. And I'm gonna go ahead and lock that, and let's do 0.5. So it's like the same as the paddle. And then I'm gonna unlock it, and I'm just gonna extend it a little bit because, oops. Okay, I guess it was unlocked, and we'll just extend it so it's, let's say, 1 unit. We'll do them like that size. Okay, so that's probably good as far as all those things are concerned. And I'm just gonna do 1 brick for now, just so that there's a proof of concept. The thing I want to do is just make this paddle move. So I think we got everything good there. Okay, so I'm gonna make another folder, create folder, and we'll just call this one scripts. And I'm gonna open up that script, right click, create, C# script, and this will be player controller script. Before I start going in there, I need a couple of things. Oop, give this a second. The paddle itself needs a rigid body, so I can go ahead and move that. So I'm gonna add component, and we'll just type in rigid body. And I'm gonna turn off gravity. I'm gonna make its mass, let's say 250, just so that it's enough. And constraints, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna freeze position on all the things, and I'm gonna freeze rotation except for X, so we can go side to side, and we will call that one good. The other thing could use would be the new physics material. So I'll make that real quick too. Create, I'm sorry, we're gonna create a folder first. Create folder, and we'll just call this physics. Open up this, right click, create. Where are you? Physics material, and we'll just call it bouncy. All right, and we're just gonna 0, 0, 1, minimum, maximum. Okay. Go back to the paddle, drop it like it's hot. Go to the ball, drop it like it's hot. And actually, we could just do it this way too. go, actually the brick doesn't need it, but whatever, it ain't gonna matter. Oh, actually it does, because it's gonna bounce off of it. And I'm gonna put it on all the walls and everything too, just to make sure that everything's on the hunky dory. Okay, so these should all have them, right? Yeah, okay, good. Let's minimize that again. All right, so that was back to the scripts here. Scripts, player controller script, I'm gonna open that up. Okay, so I'm just gonna steal from what I have here. So I have this little paddle controller script bit here. So I'm just gonna minimize that for now, and we're gonna maximize that. But that's what I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna use what's in there. So first thing I need to do though is I'm gonna make a player speed variable. It's gonna control how fast that we decide to go. So it's just going to be a public, because I want to be able to adjust this. Float, and we'll just call it player, or we'll call it paddle speed. And let's set it to initial value of 1, so that way we don't end up with 0 and then it doesn't work when we initially start. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Enter. And then we're also going to actually do it in another section. I'm going to go ahead and make a section that's going to hold the rigid body. So this will be private, and that will be a rigid body, and we'll just call it paddle RB. And not on start, we're going to go ahead and make an awake. So I'm going to do void awake, because that's where we hook things up. And oops, go back. You dirty dog. Okay. And we'll do the opening braces. And we're just going to go ahead and say paddle RB is going to be equal to get component. And it's going to be the rigid body, like so. Fantabulous. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm just going to make a function called move paddle, just because we might have a bunch of things inside of update. So we'll just do void move paddle, like so. And then in update, we're just going to run move paddle. We're just going to call that function in here. And then move paddle will run on every update, which is every render frame. And then here we'll actually move it. So what we'll do is we'll do paddle RB dot velocity will be equal to a new vector 3, and then it's XYZ. So the first one I really care about is that input dot get axis, and the axis we want to get is going to be our horizontal. So input dot get axis, and that's going to be times the paddle speed. That will be our X, and then the other ones are just 0 and 0, because I don't want to move it up or down or back and forth. And we'll just try that out real quick and see if that works. See if we get any errors. Yada yada. So I got to actually put that on the pedal itself. Let's hit play and see if it moves back and forth. And very slowly, because I didn't set up the speed here. So let's go ahead, take the paddle. And we have this player controller speed, and let's just make it, let's say 5 to start with. Probably too slow. Might change this to the mouse. I don't remember how to do that offhand, but that's also a little too slow. So let's try 8. I think 10's too fast. I remember doing 10 with the other one, and that looks pretty slow, but we'll just go with it. I'm gonna put in 10 and then call it good. 10, not 101. That's too much. All right, so we'll save that, and so I just hit Control S, save it. Okay, so now we have that going on. That looks pretty good. Now I just need to do the same thing with the ball. We need a ball controller, and we're going to do this kind of similar to some of the other stuff that we have done. So I'm going to right-click, create C# script, and this will be ball controller script. I'm going to open that guy up, and we're going to need a function to launch the ball. So I'm going to need we'll do a we're gonna need all the same things we did basically with the original ball controller script, where I'm gonna need an initial speed, a speed thing that just generally is the speed that it is at currently, the increase and the max. So we're just gonna do all the same thing. So it's just gonna be we're gonna make them public, float, and we'll call it ball speed init. Ball speed init, and we'll set that to initial value of, we'll say 10, and then we'll do another public float ball speed, and that will be also 10, because we want them to be the same, because when it initializes and what it is, it's got to be at least that much. Then we're going to do another public float ball speed increase, and we'll set that initially to 2, so it's going to increase 2 every time. And then we need a max so that we don't go too fast. Ball speed max, and we'll set that to, let's say, 30. These numbers could all be adjusted, but at least it's a start. Okay. After that, I need actually to have the rigid body. So I'm going to do a rigid body, and it's going to be no, ball RB. And then once again, so you can probably notice that there's quite a bit of the same thing over and over again. So void awake, boom. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and do ball RB is equal to get component. I'm going to store my rigid body into that. That is technically a function. And then on start, we're going to go ahead and we will launch the ball. So I'm going to do, we're going to make a void, we're going to make it public because I'm going to be able to access this from anywhere. So public void launch ball function. Okay, and should just generally be with the other ones where, how did I start the launch ball? Let me see. Let's see. Okay. So we'll just do the ball RB dot velocity will be equal to a new vector 3, and it's going to go X, Y, Z. So again, we're going to set it to 0 for X because I don't want it to go anywhere. And then it's going to be a upward motion. So it will be, I guess, ball speed in it, ball speed in it, and then 0. Oops, not like that. Let's see, does that seem right? It's simple, but yeah, that's probably fine. So let's save that. Let's go back here. See if it gives us an error. Voila. Let's see if it moves it upwards. And that works great. Okay, let's go back here. And actually, hang on a second. Well, for one, it doesn't have the ball on it, so that's not helping. Also doesn't have the rigid body. I'm going to put the rigid body above this. And again, we want to freeze the position on Z. And I want it to be able to rotate on, hang on a second. Let me just hit E for rotate. So I only want to rotate on Z, and I can tell because I only want it to rotate this direction. I don't want to rotate this way or the other way. Otherwise, it'll get kind of wonky. So only on the Z. So we're going to freeze these 2 rotations and freeze the position. We don't want to use gravity, and its mass to stay 1. That's probably fine. The rest of that's probably fine. Let's hit play, see if it shoots up, and it didn't. So that's disappointing. All right. Let's see what we did. Dot velocity is new vector 3. Oh. Okay, we're going to do it this way instead. So instead, it's going to be not this. It's going to be vector 3 dot up. So it has direction times ball speed in it. That should probably work. Let's see. Let's see. Works great. Okay. Speed in it. Let me see. Freeze position Z. Set the thing to 1. All right. So now I'm just gonna make sure there's nothing weird going on here. Oh, I never told it to launch. That might be why it's not working. Launch ball. I was just about to run a debug to make sure it was running, but then I could see clearly it was not. So let's see. There it goes. Okay, so that shoots it up. Great. Okay. Sounds pretty great. So, all right. So we got those two things. I think the next thing I probably want to do is just make sure that that brick blows up, I guess. So I'm just going to make another script for the brick. So we'll just do create C# and we'll just call it brick controller script. And we will open that up. All right. And trying to think what we need in here. So the main thing I want to do is just make it so that it gets destroyed by the ball. So we're going to do an on collision void. Oops. On collision enter, and it's going to be a collision event and COL. And I spelled collision. I back. I think that's right. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna say if anything hits it, because really they're gonna be free floating, so nothing should be hitting it. So I don't think I need to test anything that hits it. So we'll just say if something hits it, we're just gonna destroy, and we'll just destroy this whole game object. And later on we'll do a thing where we actually like score and stuff, but this should initially work. So yeah, just remember that, you know, you destroy, and we say game object, it means the game object that the script is currently connected to, which currently is connected to nothing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slap it on that brick, get over here brick. And now if we hit play, that should just die. Yay, it worked. Okay, good. So now that that's all good, what we're gonna do is just prefab the brick and make a bunch of them and kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and make a prefab, create folder, call it prefab. And I'm just gonna open this up, drag this brick in there, boom. Okay, so now what I can do is just duplicate this, Control D, and we want to position this over here. Let's do minus 1.5, and then we'll duplicate it again. Minus 3, and duplicate again, Control D, minus 4.5, and Control D, minus 6. Yeah, minus 6. And then duplicate again. Let's do minus. I don't know what my numbers were. Undo that. Did I not duplicate it? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Oops. Okay, Control D. Minus 7.5. I think we probably go one more. Control D. And we'll say minus 8. Nope, sorry, 9. Minus 9. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so it's a little bit weird because of the perspective. So I'm just gonna take this whole thing. Actually, let's just do this. Create empty. And I'm just gonna zero it all out. 0, 0, 0. Take all of these, put them in here. And I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna duplicate that object, and then what we're gonna do is offset this a certain amount. So I don't know how much it would be roughly. So it looks like 11. It's probably 10. Nope. 10.5. Oops, that was 1.5. 0.5. That looks right. Okay, so we'll say 10.5. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these and I am going to unparent them so that I'm only using that just for the purposes of being able to get them to whatever. So now I have a full row. Take this, duplicate it, and then we're just going to move this. We'll say, I don't know, 1. That looks fine. Then let's duplicate these again, Control D. Make this, let's say 2. And then let's grab the whole thing here. And we will Control D. And we will just undo that because that didn't work out as well as I was hoping. So let's go here to here, Control D. And let's make this 3. You, Control D. Let's make this 4. There, Control D. let's make this 5, and we'll call that good enough. Okay. Now I'm just gonna grab all of these guys, and oh, we'll just make the thing, and we'll just call this bricks. Take all the bricks and put them inside of this empty brick object. Which actually, before I do that, I'm gonna make sure it's all zeroed out because it wasn't. There we go. Now we'll grab it all, and we'll put them inside of bricks. Voila. Okay. Now we should be able to play it and everything should move. Yep. Okay, good. But obviously, the way it's hitting off, it's not super great because it'd be nice if it was a little bit more pitched. I think currently, I don't even know if I can get it to go. Yeah, it's not moving at all. So need to do a little bit more with that to make that a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and collapse these bricks. I'm gonna save this, and basically we've got the prototype, I would say, at this point, complete. Okay. So what we're gonna do now
Very cool.
is we are going to go ahead and do paddle ball redirection difference. Void. Hang on 1 second. On collision exit, control script. Paddle ball redirection. Ball speed. Okay. Oh, that's on the ball. Okay. So what we need to happen is that the ball hits, depending on the difference of its position compared to the paddle, we need to basically adjust that. So that is actually going to be on the ball controller script. And let's see, what we're going to do is after, actually I'll do it before launch ball. I like to use the generic ones first, and then my custom ones I always put at the end. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and do a void on collision enter. And it's the same old thing as before, collision. I don't know why I wrote collisions, COL, and boom, and there. And actually, I'm going to do this on exit because I want it to happen as it's exiting the thing, not enter. So I'm going to do exit. We could put the like audio and particle effects on the enter, but on the exit, that's when I need to change the direction. So much like what we did before, I actually want to do two things when it comes off the ball. I want it to come hit the ball, or I want it to hit the paddle. I want it to increase speed, and I want it to change direction. So I'm going to do two separate functions, kind of like what we did before, just because it's easier to keep it that way. So we're going to run two separate functions after this, that and they will each do their own thing. So we'll do void, and it will be ball redirection, ball from paddle redirection, we'll call it. So that will be one function I'm going to want to run. So this one's going to go ahead and it's going to redirect the ball in a different direction. And then the other one I want to do is void increase ball speed. And that will just increase the speed of the ball. I don't know why I did that. Okay. So let's do this one first, just because this one's easier. So we're just going to go ahead. Both of them are going to need to run. So we'll just put both in here. So ball from paddle redirection, kind of a long name, but I wanted to be able to know what it is. And the other thing it's going to do is the increase ball speed. Okay, so both of those will be run. So ball from paddle redirection will go here, and then the speed will look here. I'm just going to go ahead and do the speed because that's a little bit easier. And then we'll do the other part. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the ball speed and then increase it. So we're going to say ball speed is going to be, why is it, did I make it capital? Oh, I made them all capitals. Look at me. I suck. That's a problem. Oh man, I probably, look at right here too. I must have done it there. See? Okay. I was wondering why I switched it over on me. Okay, so we're gonna do plus equals. That just means it's going to be whatever it currently is, and then add on top of, and that's just going to be the ball speed increase. So we're just going to increase the ball speed. This doesn't actually do anything. It's just a number we keep track of, and then we're going to put that onto the ball speed. All right. Then what we're going to do is actually apply that. So I'm going to do ball RB is going to be equal, or sorry, dot velocity is going to be equal to the ball RB dot velocity dot normalized times ball speed. ball speed. Okay, so just as a reminder of what this is doing exactly is it's taking the ball velocity. We're going to give it this new amount. Okay, what it's going to do is it's going to take the current velocity and normalize it. If you remember, the difference is that when we take the velocity, right, it might be like we have x, y, z. It might say like, you know, on the x, y, and z, it might be like 3 and 9 and 0, right? So if I do 3, 9, and 0, x, y, and then z for b0, that would mean that it would be, that means it'd be going up, more up and right, okay? Normal, but that's those high numbers. What normalize does is it makes it so that it's 1 unit in the direction of where it's going. So basically I'm taking what the velocity is and making just a directional component out of it, because it's basically going to give it a value of 1 in the direction, but not like a big value like 9 or 3 or whatever it would be in that direction. So it's like truncating it, keeping the directional, but not like the strength of. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to reset it so it's the actual ball speed. So I'm saying 1 times the ball speed. So just make sure that it's absolutely that, because otherwise, if I just multiplied whatever it currently was, it would get like super fast, because it might be, you know what I mean? And that's just not good. So I don't want to do this every time though, because right now, if I do it, what's going to happen is it's going to get faster, faster, faster. I want this to run pretty much until we get to max speed. So what I'm going to do is before this, we're going to say if the ball speed is greater than the ball max speed, right? Then we're going to do is we're going to make ball speed equal to the ball max speed. So basically, once we go past ball max speed, reset ball speed back to ball max speed. And I don't have to put the brackets in there because there's no, it's only 1 line. You don't have to do it when it's more than 1 line. All right, so, okay, so now I should be able to test that. Let's see if this works, because it should get faster and faster every time we hit. So let's hit play and let's see if it gets faster. So bump, 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 bump. I think it's getting faster. Yeah, it's getting faster.
Mine's not,
Yay.
but mine has a lot further to go than yours.
Okay. There was the thing, because I remember we had to do this with you, Steven. I'm going to take the paddle and was it the paddle or the ball? Maybe it was the ball. I'm going to take, yes, the
In
ball.
order for the ball not to go through, you had to do both the paddle and the ball.
Oh, really? Okay. So we're going to do ball, and then I think it's
So
continuous
one was
dynamic.
continuous and the other was continuous dynamic.
Yeah. Okay. So that just makes sure that if it goes too fast, I'm not going to worry about doing it to the paddle right now. I'm going to wait and see if it's an issue. If it is, then we'll solve that, because we'd also have to do it on the walls as well as even maybe the blocks, because there's a chance to go through and pass the blocks. But anyway, so that will increase the speed. Now we'll do the more difficult one, which is just setting the direction. That I just want to make sure that it does it. Okay, so the way that we're going to find the direction that we want this paddle to go in, that we want this ball to go in. So if it's over here to the right, it'll go more to the right. And if it hits over here on the left, it'll go more to the left. Is that we're going to take the difference of the center of this object to the center of this object, right? So basically, if I compare these two, and this one's in a positive value, so like let's say it ends up being, you know, 1 unit, like it's over here, that's going to send it this direction. But if I end up with a negative value, it's going to go this direction. And it's just going to be a range between them. So if it's only a little bit, it'll go a little bit that way. And if it's a lot that way, it'll go a lot that way. So we're going to compare the 2 positions on the x-axis, see what the difference is, and then multiply that and set a new normalized velocity. Okay. But it's based off of where it's going to contact. So we're going to use that as our thing here. Okay. So, okay. So let's, yes. What'd you say?
We're going to?
I didn't hear what you said.
Are we going to the paddle script?
Yeah, I'm going to do this on the, well, this will be on the ball script first. So this is going to be a ball script thing. The paddle script's, I think, mostly pretty normal. So right here, you'll notice that we have the ball paddle redirection. Okay. Now, when the ball's hitting something, I need to compare it to the thing that it's hitting. And in this case, it's going to be, the paddle, but it could also be the walls. So what I want to do is just compare it to that and then use that. So I'm actually going to send it the COL of the collision. I'm going to send that to this paddle redirection so that it can compare it to the object that we hit. So I'm going to go in here and type COL. right? So it's going to send it to COL, and then this has to have that same file type, or I'm sorry, variable type. If I could spell collision, and I'm just going to keep naming it COL just because it's easy to remember that. So we'll just call it COL still. So basically, when we do the collision, I'm going to send it the object that we collided with as well when we call this object. And then what we're going to do first is do a vector. So we're going to make a new vector 3, and we're going to make it equal to, I'm sorry, vector 3, call it diff, and we're going to make it equal to basically the difference between them. So we're going to say transform dot position. Wow, I don't know how I ended up player position minus the COL dot game object dot position. Transform dot position. Sorry, COL dot game object dot transform dot position. Okay, so basically, again, COL is the object that we hit. So in this case, it would be the paddle. So we're going to say, look at our position and subtract from it the position of the object that we hit. And then we'll end up with the difference as a vector 3. So I'm going to use that to redirect the ball. So we're going to say ball RB dot velocity, and that will be equal to the diff plus the ball RB dot velocity times times 0.1 f, and that just is going to scale it. The smaller the number, the more it's going to bend. The more whole the number, like to 1, basically, it will make it just go straight up. So that's just to help it. That just helps tilt it by multiplying by that number. And then we're just going to do normalized. And again, we just want to get the direction. I'm not looking for the strength of it. We're going to get the strength by multiplying it times the ball speed. Because I don't want it to like increase or decrease speed when it hits. I'm just looking to change the direction of it. And that should work. All right, so save that. I'm going to go back here. And now, we'll hit play. And now when the ball goes there, right, you can see, oops, it's getting really fast. I can't even test it. All right, let's take the ball speed down a touch. Ball speed increase. Let's do 0.5 because and let's do less for this. Let's do 20. That way I can just test it. We can always play around with those numbers afterwards. All right. See, it doesn't seem to be changing. Let me double check. Okay. Ball speed redirection. Let me just make sure it's running. So we'll do debug.log redirect, darn you.
I'll be rewatching this. I already got my script messed up.
All right, let's see if this runs, and then we'll know if it's working. Okay, so it is working. It's just not actually making it move. So that sucks. Okay. All right, so let's just double check to make sure we got everything good over here. Just look at my script. All right, so ball difference transform dot position minus COL dot game object position. That's good. Ball RB velocity is difference. Why did I do equals? Jeez. There we go. That's, yeah. Nobody said anything. All right, let's see if it's working now. There it goes. Okay. So yeah, it is. Well, you can't tell, but that looks great. Okay. I need to do something on there.
Oh wait,
So,
why is it
doing
the
that
same thing your pedal's doing?
because it's on every collision. So I need to change it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the paddle. I'm gonna make this player. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is on this, we're gonna say we're gonna say, I could test it either on the collision exit or on the You know, let's do it because I would rather only increase speed when we hit it, not when it hits other things, I think. So I'm just gonna do it up here. So we're gonna say if col dot game object dot tag is equal to player. So this is basically it'll run stuff when it's the player as opposed to tab. Okay, so now it'll test the player, and then it won't run this redirection thing. That should solve that issue. I think what's happening is it's hitting at a direction, and then it's running the redirection coming out the same direction that we hit it as, because it's basing it off of this object. So let's see if we can. No, yeah, let's. God bless it. Okay. I think it went underneath. Let's look. Might have to fix that too. Well, I gotta have it that when it hits this anyway, that it's gonna have to kill it. We didn't really do that yet.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah. So there's ways of fixing that, but that's one of those things. But that shouldn't be happening anymore. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell, sort of. Yeah, I mean, it was bouncing back and forth, so that solves that issue. It was just it was applying the same scenario to get out of here, Charlie. He's playing Minecraft. It's because you're playing. I see that, buddy. Very proud of you. Okay. Okay. Well, I get to know about it. All right. All right. So that seems working fine. Let's see. What else do we want to add to this? That is for that. That doesn't matter. That was. We don't need that either right yet, and I don't need any of that. Okay, so the other thing that really kind of needs besides this part is some scoring. So I'm just going ahead and do the scoring. I'm actually going to put it at the bottom here, and then we'll hook up the code to do that as well. So let's just go ahead and create UI, and we'll do Text Mesh Pro, and we'll just put score text. Okay, and we'll import. I hate this stupid thing. I always forget to do it. And it's like not working and I don't notice it. Okay. Score text. Oh, we're already in here. So I'm going to click on this and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the bottom. I think right would look best. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I am actually going to right align it. So it's offset up to that. Go back up here and let's take this and make this minus 50. Oh, no, it is just 50. So we'll say 50. And then we'll say from here, we'll say 50 as well. We'll say minus 50. So now it's offset there. And I don't think we really need to put anything in that quite yet. That looks fine. I don't think I need to do anything with that right at the moment. So I'm going to do a new script, and that's going to be our game controller script, and that's just going to control our scoring. So let's go ahead and create C# script, and we'll just call it game controller script. I'm going to open that up. And on this one, we're going to go ahead and do using TMP row. Okay, let's get rid of this. So I'm going to need a variable to hold my text. So I think I might just be lazy and just do a public. So I'm just going to snap it on because I don't care. We're going to make it public and text mesh pro. I think it's UGUI. I might have to look that up because I don't remember, but it's I think that's what it is.
You need to put that under using as well, don't you?
What's that? I already put it right there.
Add that. Oh, okay.
Yep, but well done. You're exactly right. So then we're gonna do. See, you're figuring it out.
Eventually, I made some mistakes. I'll be going back rewatching this later. Kind of excited to try that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if I do this, then that way you guys can just look at it. Also, I think it's good for you guys to see me struggle because it's not like I struggle making all of these things. So don't feel like it's easy for me. Plus, not for nothing, I'm just looking at our old code while I'm doing it. So it makes it a little bit easier too. So void awake, and I'm just gonna have to snap something in there. Actually, sorry, I don't need to do that on awake because I made it public. So instead of searching for it, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna place it on there because I'm lazy. I'm not gonna have more than one level anyway. So we're gonna save. Oh, actually, this isn't even doing anything yet. So we need to make a function that's going to add to the score. So I'm just gonna go down here. I'm gonna do void, and we'll say update score. And I'm going to do public void update score. So that way I can access this from any function. We're also going to have to make some variables private, and we'll do a int because this is going to be whole numbers, and we'll just say score. And so we'll just say public void update score, and I am going to do an int, and we'll just say points. Oh God, I hope points isn't a keyword. I don't remember if it is or not. Seems like it would be a keyword. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that score is going to be plus equals points. So whatever the current score is, just add the points onto it. And actually, I'm going to set score initially equal to 0. Oops, equals 0. So we'll add the whatever. So when we call this function, we have to give it a number of points. The reason why I'm setting it up this way, as opposed to just going score plus plus and just incrementing it, is that if I want to set some blocks up that they're worth more, I can send it that when they die, they send it like a higher number, and so they're worth more points. It just makes it a little bit more dynamic, so I have more options, right? So remember, these are the parameters, and then when I call the function, like when we write, when I go to run this, I say update score, right? I would put my arguments in here, so I say 9, right? So that's an argument, and then that argument is going to go where this points is, and then that will add to the score 9 points. But we're not doing that right now, but that's what that's for. Might as well collapse these because we're not doing anything with them. Okay, so score, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that'll update score. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to do, because I could add lives to things too. Trying to think. We'll do another function just in case I want to add lives or something. So we'll do public void update UI, we'll call it. Yeah, we'll just do it as a, and I'm not going to make it public. I'm just going to, like, it only runs in here. So we'll say void update UI, and then inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and add to this text, to my this thing, score text. I'm just going to copy that, and we're say score text dot text will be equal to, and then we'll say score space, and then concatenate the score. And I think I got to do the top to string function. Because remember, this is an int, and so it won't understand ints. It can't go into the text. Yeah, so this will just update it every time. And now all I'm going to do is, after I do the score, I'm just going to tell it to update UI, and we won't set that anything. We'll just run it. Because that way later on, if I want to do like a public update lives, which probably we do want to do, right? Give them a certain number of lives. I can have that update lives, and then I can send it a -1 or a +1 to give a life or take a life. That should all work. So let's save that. Let's go back here. Let's hope for no errors, no errors, no errors. Feels like a rolling dice. Okay.
I have like 5 errors.
Look at you go. So we'll create an empty. We'll call it the game controller. I'm just going to 0 it out. Doesn't actually matter, but I just like having things at 0. And we're going to put the game controller script on that. And you'll see we have that public here. And I'm just going to go ahead and slap on that score text again, because I'm lazy. So that should be good. Now, when I hit play, this should update to score. Oh, you know what? It isn't going to, because it's not running. So right off the bat, this void update UI, I'm just going to go ahead and call that right on start. So update UI, like that. So that way, when the game starts, it'll go ahead and update the score. So it'll say score 0. Hang on a second. Did I put, when I did it? Yeah, I did it. Okay. Just want to make sure I put the colon in there. All right. So let's
And
see.
just for a question, close voice to be lowercase, right? COL, lowercase.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Yes, it should be lowercase. It's a variable.
Okay.
Okay. Yay.
It says
Okay.
my text mesh pro isn't found for some reason. Does the mesh need to be capital?
Yes. You're talking
Let
about
me
the
make
script,
sure.
So text
Yes,
mesh pro UGUI. And you put
Dang it.
TMP Pro, right?
I put TMP Pro and
Yeah,
then
And
I
you did
get
import.
an error update UI does not exist in the current context.
Or are you trying to do this with me at the same time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't planning you guys trying to do that.
Job.
Well,
Must
I
be
just
moving
wanted
very
to I
fast.
just wanted to do it a little bit and try to
Okay.
get a score down at least.
Okay. So it says up. Okay. You want to show me real quick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because it'd probably be fast if I just see it. It's probably just something.
It's probably
that
something
happened, like-
really basic.
Yeah, it's usually okay.
27.
Update.
So,
Oh, see,
oh,
you
it's
have a lowercase q.
man.
Yeah.
Man.
There you go.
I wish there was autocorrect in this, but like a better one.
Well, there's millions of variations, so wish you luck.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what Anson was showing you guys. You know what I mean?
But sometimes it doesn't help. Sometimes it does.
Yes, I agree. I just find that it was kind of getting in my way quite a bit. So okay, so this is all working, and we have. Remember, I made this one a public void, so now it needs to be sent points, and then it will update the score. So that's all fine. But what that means is that I need to find a way to score. So I could attach it one of two ways. I could either have the brick that when it dies, it also adds a point, or I could have it that when the ball hits it, that it adds a point. So I could take the ball and say, oh, when you do on collision enter, which I have exit right now, but on collision enter, you could also do on exit really, but on collision enter, say, oh, add points. The problem with doing it this way though, is that would mean that this guy would, it would just see the object, know it's a brick, and then just add a certain amount. Like it wouldn't know how many points to add because it would just know it's a brick and kill it. So it's actually better to do it on the brick because what I could do is on each of the bricks, give each brick a point value. And then when it dies, when it sends that function, it could also send specifically to this brick what the amount is, if that makes sense. So it's actually smarter for me to have on this brick controller script to have it do the scoring. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make it public just so that I can adjust it, and it's gonna be int, and we're gonna put point value, we'll say. And let's make it an initial value of 1. So basically every brick by default, we're gonna say it's a value of 1. And then when it does the on collision enter and it gets killed, before it destroys the object, we're gonna have it call that function on the game controller script. So I need to get to it. So what we're gonna do is we're also gonna put that in here, private, type is game controller script, and we'll just call it, I usually just call it the same thing, but lowercase. So we'll say GM C NT SC, call it that. That way it's smaller and it's less confusing. Okay. Although I think it's more confusing, but you get the idea. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll do this on awake, void awake, because I need to be able to access that. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. Let's do this. So instead of initializing it and putting it in there, I'm just going to do it right at runtime. Because no matter what, it's going to have to run at some point. This way, like if I do the initial thing, like let's say I go into start and I have it run, right? I go, okay, find this game controller. First, make a variable that's going to hold it. Then on awake, find it and store it. And then here, go ahead and call it. There is a value in it because this is before it's on awake. So technically it would take longer to load up, but it'd be faster during runtime. I'm just going to do it all at once. Why bother making, because it's only going to run once. If it was something I'm running multiple times, it'd be worth setting all that up, but I'm just going to do it at the end here, just before it dies. So all I'm going to do is we're just going to do game object find, and the game object we're going to find is going to be the game controller script, and then in that we're going to do dot get component, and the component I want to get is a game controller script. Oh, we could also just do find find of what is it, find of type or whatever, but I'll just find the actual object itself. You know what? I do like the idea of finding of type instead, though. I feel like that would be a cleaner way of working. You know what I mean? Find, it's like find component of type. We'll just do this. I don't really care about dealing with it. Okay, get component, game controller script, and then I'm just going to run the God, what was it? Update score. Update score, and then I need to give it a value. The value I'm going to give it is this point value. So point value. Okay, so now when it hits it, it's going to find the game controller script. It's going to find inside of it the game controller script object, I wrote it should just be game controller, not game controller script. It's going to find the game controller object. Then it's going to find the game controller script inside of it. It's going to run its function update score, and it's going to send it this argument of point value, which currently is 1. We'll save that, and I don't have to do anything because that is a class. All of these have an instance of that class onto it, right? They've all been instantiated. So all these bricks, if I were to open it up, you can see I could change the point value of each one of these. So that automatically updated. So now when I hit play, come on, it should add. See, yay. So now it adds the points to it, and each one adds 1 point. Now, again, we can make this a little bit more dynamic. Like I know like some of us, we were doing that thing where every time we killed it, we were doing a couple hits each time. We're going to do all that too. And I'll just make it the more hits it takes, the more points you get, kind of a thing. And maybe what I'll do is randomize it. That would be kind of cool. Maybe we'll randomize it. And that way they can all just be randomly different types.
Couldn't you also assign a point value to a certain color? Like if I wanted to make some of the bricks a different color and they would take more hits per se.
That's exactly, yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them randomly choose the type it is. And then if it's whatever, it'll be red. If it's whatever, it'll be green. Whatever, it'll be blue or something. Like kind of like what we did with the roller ball. And then depending on the colors, it'll take more hits in order for them to be gone. And then you'll get more points as well. So it'll be like 3 hits is 3 points. You know what I mean? Something like that. Or maybe 3 hits is 5 points. So there's more value hitting, kind of a thing. But yes, exactly. Yep. And that's one of those things you need to do as a video game designer, right? You have to have some sort of visual guide so that people understand what it is and that there's a difference between them. Okay. So we got that working. That's good. We need to add the depth down here. So I could do it a couple different ways. If you remember before, what we did with Pong is that we did it based off of if it goes off the screen. But I already have this bottom object and I'm feeling real lazy. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take the bottom one here and I'm just going to make it a trigger, the bottom wall, and then just have it that that like will reset the scoring and stuff. Oh, you know what though? I'm not going to do that. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is that if I do that, I have to make another script, attach it to that, have that find the thing. I'm going to take the ball controller instead, and I'm going to have it just use the thing because that way the ball itself can determine whether we scored or not. So I actually think that would be cleaner because it'd be less scripts. I always try to limit. I'm trying to limit the amount of code written and the amount of scripts that you write, just because it's, you know, a thing. But although it would be easier to do it the other way. I mean, I'm trying to make this so that you guys can do it. I'll do it the other way because it'll be easier. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take the bottom wall. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I could find the position of this on the X, Y based on the screen value. And then if it goes past it, that becomes that, then it scores. But what we'll do is I'll just take the bottom wall. I'm gonna make it is trigger instead. And we're gonna have to make a script for this that when it hits this, that it becomes triggered. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll create a new script and we'll just do C# script and we'll just I'm just gonna call it Deathbox script because that's my favorite script name, Deathbox script. And then we will slap that on. Okay, we will slap that on the bottom wall. And then I'm going to open that up and we'll take all this out. And let's see. So on this one, because it could happen multiple times, I will bother to make the variable. So say private game controller script. And we'll say game controller CT controller script. I don't know. We'll call it like that. Probably not a good abbreviation. And then enter, 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 and then we'll say void, you dirty dog. We'll say void awake. Okay, and then we're just gonna say GM yada yada yada. It's gonna be equal to get component. Oh, this is on the Deathbox script though. So we'll have to do game object first. Game object dot find. and it's going to be the game controller, like so. And dot get component. The component we're going to get is going to be the game controller script, like so. Okay, good. So now we have the game controller script, and we need to do our lives thing, which I don't currently have. So I'm going to save this real quick, and I'm going to go to my game controller. And after this private int score, we're going to do a public. Now we'll make this private too. A private int lives, and we'll set that initially to a value of 3. We'll say. All right, and so we have update score. I'm just going to literally take this, Control C, Control V, and we're just going to change the names of these. So we're going to say update lives. Okay, and then we're going to say int, and we'll just say lives again. Oh, wait a minute. What did I call it up here? We did call it lives. We'll say total lives. Total lives. Okay, so we'll say int, we'll send ourselves lives, and then it's going to be total lives. Shrink total lives will be plus equals lives, and then we will update the UI, and then I will have to have another part for my lives to be in. So I'm going to make another one of these. So public text mesh probe, and we'll say lives text. Okay, and I'll go back here. And I'm just going to take the score text and duplicate it. Rename this one lives text. Lives text. And we're going to do, let's say, minus 25. Oops, that's the wrong one. We're going to say 25. Let's do this on 20. Let's do 10. There we go. We'll say 10. And actually, then let's do this minus 25. We'll do this one. Oh, cool. It didn't say what I wrote. Nice. It's fast just to type in my hand. Okay. So that looks good. All right. So let's go to the game controller script. And now I have one for the lives, and slap that on there. I'm just being lazy. I could search and all that, but I'd rather just do it this way. So now what I can do is I have the lives text, and now I just need to update it, and it's literally going to be the same thing as this. Control V, and we'll just say lives, and it will not be score. It's going to be the total lives to string, and then I'm just gonna. Oh, we already have the update there, so you can see we already write it here, and both of these use the same function. So the idea here is that I don't have to write this each time. I write it once, and then every time I need to update that UI, this will do it for me. So now we save that. We go here. Might be errors, I'm not sure. Can't believe how many not errors I've been having. It's sort of remarkable to me. Okay, so let's see. Does that? Okay, so that's, you can see it's not currently taking away any lives. So I gotta I don't remember what I even wrote on that. I didn't finish it, I'm pretty sure. So where are you? Death box script. Okay. Yeah, we just have to find it. I haven't called it or anything. So what we're going to do is on trigger enter. So void on trigger enter. This is going to be a collider. And then I just always call it COL. So it's not collision though, because it's a trigger. So it's collider. And then what we're going to do is game, blah, 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 dot. And we want to do update lives, and then what we're going to do is actually send it a -1, because I'm actually going to take lives away, but later on we can do a +1 and add lives. But you can see that makes it a lot more dynamic. So now that should function. I'm gonna have to reset the ball. That's gonna be another thing we're gonna have to do, but I'll worry about that initially. So let's just see if it takes away our lives, that it goes down to 2, and it did. Good. But mind you, it is going on for eternity. See the ball? So because we don't reset it or anything. So we're gonna reset that ball afterwards. But that worked pretty good. Okay. So when it goes past this, we have to reset it. So I'm gonna do this basically the same way that we set up before, is that I can have it launch that ball, right? So I'm trying to think if this is the best way to do it. I guess we're doing this kind of rough, so I'm not doing it super clean. Because really I should have it like check the game, check if the game's over every time. Okay, so it's gonna go there, it's gonna take away a live. Obviously, update lives. I'll check something real quick. Okay, so I have no connection to that. We really should have this be doing all of the things that all of the resetting of the ball and everything. So I think so I'm gonna go ahead and do a void, and we'll say we'll do a void, and we'll actually we're gonna do a public one. Public void. What do I want to call this? Let's call it death. Okay. So I'm gonna do public void death. What I'm gonna have it happen instead is I'm gonna have the death box actually call that instead of sending it a -1 on the update lives. I'm gonna have that run the update lives and have this instead just run the death, and then this will handle that part of it. So instead of this, we're just gonna go ahead and run death, and that will require nothing. And then Control S, and then on game controller, I'm gonna have this do, and I will make this not public. We'll just update the lives ourselves. You know what? I will leave that public in case I want to add lives a different way. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and we'll do update lives, and we'll do a -1 like that. This should work exactly the same. I'm just going to double check to make sure. Now I'm just having it run death, and then the death's going to take the update lives out. Because I need to check if the game's over, and then I need to reset the ball. And I'd rather have that reset the ball than have the death box do it. So let's see, go down to 2. Okay, lives do go to 2. Something got weird here. So lives 3. Where's my score? Bricks. Point value. Why are the bricks not scoring anymore? Hang on a second. Something got messed up. Game controller. Score text. Hang on. Did I update? Update UI. Update UI. Score text score. That's weird. Why did that suddenly not score anymore? I don't know what I did different. See, look at it. And it's the top one now. It was the bottom, wasn't it? It doesn't make any
I
sense
don't
at
recall
all.
seeing it change.
Well, this should say score, and it's not scoring. Hang on a second. Let's go to scene. Let's frame that. Yeah, see, that one's score text. The lives text is underneath, but yet it's going to this guy somehow. Let's go to here. Score text. It's in the top one. Let me just do this real quick. Control S. Let's see if this updates. Oh. Oh, that was another one I meant. I meant to do this one. Okay. Look at now that one's working. Update lives, total lives, update. When I comment this one out, it was working. When I comment that one out, the other one's working. Oh, geez, I'm an idiot. I wrote them both as score text. Whoops. It's lives text. Lives text. Geez. Okay. Real bright. Okay. Okay. Well, that's working. So that's all fine. So the other thing I want to do is reset the ball position. So that was on the ball controller script. Probably have to use that multiple times. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put that up here as well. So we will do, I'm not going to make it public. I will do a private, and that is the ball controller script, and we'll just call it ball script. And I will do that on an update. So yeah. So we're going to do void, not an update, I mean an awake. Boom, and we're just going to go ahead and do ball script is going to be equal to game object dot find, and we will find the ball dot get component balls controller script. Boom, like that. And what we're going to do is on the death, we're going to say, I'm going to do this first. If the total lives is greater than 0, then do all this stuff. Otherwise, it's the end of the game. So we're going to go like this. All right, so we'll update the lives, and then we will launch the ball. So it's going to be ball script dot launch ball, like so. Oops, hang on a second. There we go. And we got to go to ball launch ball, and I need to reset its position. So one of the things I want to do, we didn't do this on the other one because I set the ball position on the paddle directly in the center. What I want to do is actually store the position of the ball when we first start the game. So wherever it is right here, I want to keep that, and then that way we can reset it to that position. So I'm going to go back to the script here on the ball controller script, and I'm just going to make a variable that will hold it. So we'll just say private vector3, and we will call it ball init POS position. And we'll do is right on start. Before we do this, we'll just say that ball init position is going to be equal to the transform dot position, like that. That may cause an error. Is that going to work? Okay, wasn't angry. Good. Okay. So we're just going to store the initial position into this vector3. And then when we go to launch the ball, I'm going to set the position of the ball to that. So I'm going to say ball, not RB, ball. Actually, why am I even doing that? I'm sorry. It's transform dot position is going to be equal to ball init position. Double check to make sure that's all right. I don't know if I have to do a new vector3. I was getting confused as to when we need to do that. Okay, good. So we're going to reset the position to there, and we also need to set the ball velocity back to 0. So ball RB dot velocity is going to be equal to a new vector3 dot. I'm sorry, not new vector3. It's just vector3 dot 0. Vector3 dot 0. I just want to set the initial value of the velocity to nothing, so that way it doesn't have any speed, and then we'll apply this to it. We're gonna have to do that whole enumerator thing. We'll make a pause, but for now, I'm gonna call that good. Oh. And let's see, die, and good. Yep, so it works. So let's just make sure it scores at a weird, good. Yep, so it works every time. and it always shoots up at least to start. All right, good. That's what we wanted. Okay. So now let me just double check. It is keeping score, and it does shoot from the middle. All right, so boom, lost the light, lost the light, lost the light. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to give me an error. Yeah, nothing happened. That's right. Okay. So what I would like to do, another part that I think would be good, is if actually the ball was set to the position of this, and then it launches when we hit it, or when we hit to fire. So actually, instead of it just launching by default on start, I want it to launch when I click. I think that would be better. So we are going to set that up as well. So I'm going to go over here, and on start, let me think how I want to do this. All right, I think we're going to do it this way. We're going to say, so after it does the initial position, we're going to not ball, sorry. We're going to say transform dot position. This is probably not the cleanest way to do it. Dot set parent, I think it is. And then we're going to set it to the paddle, which I don't currently have. So we're going to go ahead and just put it inside of here. Game object dot. I don't want to write this out every time we go to do it. So what we're going to do is this instead, just to make this cleaner. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a new function that's going to set the parenting to either the paddle or not. So we're going to say void set paddle parent. Okay, and we will set it a bool, and we'll call it parent. I don't know if parent is a keyword, but we'll say parent paddle, and that'll either be true or false. Okay, so we'll say if parent paddle, we only have to say, so if true, if we are supposed to parent the paddle, what we're going to do is we are going to say that the what do you call it? It's so it's what I did before, transform dot, I think it's just transform dot parent, because it would be rotation everything too. So just transform set parent, and then that would be in here. I need to look for the game object dot find, and the game object I want to find is going to be the paddle. I think that's it actually, because it's just the paddle itself. Don't know if I have to do it to the transform of that. Let's just save that and see if I get an error. I think I'm going to. Yeah, I didn't like it. So argument one cannot convert type uni object to transform. So I think it's got to be the transform of it. So let's just put paddle, and then we'll do. I don't know if I want to do get component transform. I think I'm just going to do dot transform. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to have to do the API thing. Yeah, okay. So when you do parenting, it's based off the transform. I had to do from one transform to the other transform. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to say else. I'm going to have it do, and actually, we don't need all these other bits here. So I'm going to, oops, not that. Thank you. I'm going to get rid of these extra braces just to make it easier. Else, what we're going to do is we're going to do transform dot set parent, and it's going to be null. I think it's like that. It might have to be in quotes. I cannot remember, but we'll find out. We did it with the particles, if you recall. Okay, so now we have a function that will work by setting our parent to either the paddle, hopefully, we haven't tested this yet, or let me tap that in, or it will do this anytime we call this set paddle parent. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to go ahead and up here, I'm going to call that function. So set paddle parent, and we're going to send it true because I want to parent it to my paddle. Okay. And let's just do that. Make sure this works. I'm just going to make sure that when we play the game that it does in fact move with my paddle. and then we'll know. So I'm gonna hit play, and if it moves to the paddle, then we're good. At least to start with here. So it looks like it is not parented to the paddle. No, it did parent to the paddle. But once it's moving, I think it just doesn't care. Okay, that's fine. That's what I wanted. Okay, so it did get parented, even though it was acting a little funky. That's good start. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take this launch ball. I'm not gonna launch the ball initially. What we're gonna do is on the paddle controller script here, we're gonna set up an input for if we hit the if we click to go, like click to shoot. So I'm gonna make another function. We'll call it void shoot ball, and we'll run that on update as well. So shoot ball, like so. Okay, so it's gonna shoot ball, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna test if the input dot get button down. We haven't done this one before, but we'll say fire. Oh, it's gotta be quotes. Sorry, quotes fire 1. So get button down means that when you push it down, because there's also get button up. So it means as soon as I push down, it's nice because it's just on or off. I can't remember if I gotta do this greater than 0 or not. Can't remember. Anyway, I'm just gonna do a debug dot log, and we're just gonna say shoot just to see if it works. So let's go here. Cannot be applied to, okay, so it is a bool. All right. So yeah, what's nice about this is that because it's a get button down, it's innately a Boolean. Oh, whoops, actually I do need that, which means that this is true or false. So I only need to test whether it's fired. And good, right? Because you either press a button or you don't press a button. There's no it's not an analog like a trigger is. I know, like we do with the left and right arrows, we treat them like they're analog, but that's because it could also be a joystick or a mouse or any number of other inputs. Okay, so we're gonna test whether we do that. Let me just hit fire, which is actually just click, and it's shot. Good. Okay. So now it'll shoot, but what we're gonna actually have it do is launch ball. So do I have the paddle? I don't have the ball attached here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a private, and this will be the ball controller script, and we'll just call it ball script. And we will go ahead and in here, go ahead and apply it. So ball script will be equal to game object dot find. And the games we're going to find is going to be the ball. And then we want to get the component ball controller script. Okay. Oops. What did I just do? Okay. Ball controller script. All right. And now down here, we can do, instead of saying shoot, we're going to say ball script. And we're going to say dot launch ball. So now the ball will launch when we press fire. This is actually not going to quite work, and you'll see why in a second, but it's at least a good start. And I'm going to have to change that. Oops, I'm going to change that fire too. But now you'll see when we go to move, it's actually a little weird. But when I click, it shoots. So I think what's happening is that it's making it not move. I think that's the ball controller script's making it not move. So I just got to see what's going on here. So void, there's nothing on update though. Watch ball. I see why this is here. Why are you not moving? Okay. Let's see if we just move real slow. It is actually moving a little bit. See the numbers? It's just, it wants to. But it won't go all the way. Let me see, what's the paddle value at? -8. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm gonna take the ball and I'm gonna put it is kinematic and see if that solves it. I wonder if it's just the rigid body. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not it. Okay, so yeah, it's the rigid body that's causing it harm. So what I'm gonna have to do along with this is also make it so it's is kinematic is turned on. So we're turning that off by default, but I'm gonna have to go over here and on the ball controller script, we're gonna have to do where are you? The set paddle parent with this. So now I am gonna have to add brackets. God bless it. We'll set the transform, and then I'm also gonna make it as kinematic. We'll do that first, actually. So it's gonna be ball RB dot is kinematic. I think that's it, right? Kinematic. And then we're gonna say true. Rigid byte is command cannot be used like a method. Oh, it's equal. Sorry, it's not a function. It's kinematic equals true. And okay. Now when we hit play, and I go, yay, works. But when I go to fire, it doesn't do anything because it's kinematic. So I gotta we gotta turn it off here. So I'm just gonna take this, plop this guy here, take this, copy it, Control C, enter Control V, and we'll make it false. Oops, false. And now when we go back here, yada yada yada. All right. So you can see it go like this, and when I fire, what's fire? Ah, why are you no work? It's working great. Whee! Okay, so something's
Whoa.
amiss. Okay. Set paddle, blah blah blah. So something's setting it, it's parenting it back on. So player controller script, void shoot ball, move paddle. Okay. One ball. What is okay? So void start. It's gonna set paddle parent to true. Okay. And then when we on launch ball, where's launch ball? This also has to call that function. So this is also got to call set paddle parent, and we're gonna send it false. So that way it launches it and sets it back to false. So if that makes sense. When we launch it, we want to set the paddle back to not being parented, but on the initial game, we want to set to being parented. And we're also going to have to set that when it's death time too. Let's see. This should hopefully work. Hey. But there's also a problem of it setting that position to 0. So on the launch ball, we don't want this one. I don't want to set the transform to 0. It should just be wherever it's at because it's parented to my thing. That was just because last time when we're resetting the ball. So now, there we go. That works great. All right, but I think that's now working. Yay. All right. Good. Okay. So that's all working. What I need to do now, though, is that when it's death, I need to set that back to this. So we're going to game controller. And right now on death, it automatically launches the ball, which I don't want it to do. What I want to do is have it set the ball back into the initial position. So we'll have to make another script called reset ball, and that will reset the ball position. So I'm going to make another one here, and we'll call it void public void reset ball POS. Okay. And I'm not really liking, because I could have probably put this in there actually instead. Whatever. So reset ball position. And oh, you know what? Because I said it, remember before I said, oh, I'm going to take that initial position. Actually, don't think we need that because I I have to set it to wherever the position is of the paddle. So that doesn't really help me much. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is reset the ball position offset from the player paddle controller. Do I have anything that looks at the paddle controller? Do I have paddle controller in here anywhere? Okay, component, rigid body, set paddle. Right here I do. Okay. Where is, okay, right here, but I just did it in the script itself. All right, well, we'll just do it again here. So what we're gonna do is say transform dot position is going to be equal to the game of this thing. So we're going to set it to the transform position of the paddle. And then we'll also do set paddle parent. And we're going to give it a value of true. So basically, when it resets the ball, it's going to find the position. This fly really loves me. It's going to set the position of the paddle or of the ball to the position of the paddle. And then it's going to set parent true. This isn't going to quite work because what's going to do is going to put it right in the center of the paddle, I believe. And I need to offset it. Set parent takes 0 arguments. Oh, no. What was the error? Oops, not that one. Okay. No overload for set parent to 69. Let's see. On ball controller script. Doink, doink, doink. Oh, that's weird because that wasn't a problem before. Oh, where did the inside of this go? Oh, because I didn't copy it. I moved it. Oops. Meant to copy it. Okay. Not implicitly to vector transform to vector 3. 81. Okay. So transform dot position, game object line, transform. Oh, dot position. Oops. Position. Not bad. All right, so this should reset the, actually I never call it, so that's not even gonna do anything. Hang on, we have to call that function. So, okay, I made a public void. Now I'm gonna do is with the game controller, and instead of launch ball, we're gonna do reset ball. Reset ball position. So that when it dies, it'll call that reset ball position function instead. So let's shoot you. Oops, I thought I hit play. Let's shoot you. And yeah, see, it puts it right in the center, which is what I want. I have to offset it slightly. So what I'm going to do is instead of just game object find the transform dot position, God, I don't want to do that. Okay. So we're using this twice. So I should have just found this object to begin with. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it up here and just make it easier on myself. So we're going to go ahead and do private game object, and we're going to call this the paddle. And then we'll just do, I'm going to copy game object dot find. Okay, control C. Where are you? And here, and paddle will be equal to game object dot find paddle. And then I'm going to look and see wherever this is put, and then change this to just paddle dot transform. Paddle dot transform, instead of having to write all that stuff, instead of doing a search every time. Paddle dot transform. Okay. Let's just save that, make sure that's still running. Doesn't have any issues that make the typo. And it looks like it is good. So now we're going to go back here. And what time? Okay. So we got that paddle transform position. That should look good. Let's go ahead and So I need to offset it on the Y off a certain amount. So what I want to do is this. Take this guy out because that's not really helping, and neither is this. So I'm gonna take out both of those ball position, the initial position thing, because I'm not using that anyway. Instead, I'm just gonna set it to the position of that paddle. So we'll just run reset ball position right from the get-go. But what I need to do is offset it. So we'll say, oh God, I hate to do it this way, but we'll do it like this. So we're gonna say new vector 3. And so it's X, Y, Z. So we're gonna say the ball position on the X. And then we're also gonna need this again, Control C, but I wanna offset it. So I'm gonna do the ball position, oops, sorry, this should be ball position dot X. And then this will be ball position dot Y plus our offset that we wanna make it. So it's probably offset, let's say 1 for right now. And then the last one could just be 0 because it's Z and we don't really care what that is. So that should work. That should offset it. Let's do 2 just in case. Now when we go here and it resets the position. I'm just going to go over here. Oh, got to shoot it first. Okay, so 2 seems like too much, but it resets the position now to 2. So let's just make this 1 again. And I'll do 1. And I am actually going to run this reset ball position right from the get-go, even though it doesn't really matter. Just makes me feel better. So we'll say right on here. Okay. All right, so now we'll see. Should be able to go like this, and then I can hit it and go, yay, it's doing stuff. And then it goes back here, and then I can start shooting again like so. So what I think what I'd like to do though is make it so that the fire is actually space. So I could switch, if I go over to the script here, I could switch that, I guess that's on the paddle controller, player controller. Right now we're testing fire 1. I could switch this to jump because that's space bar, but I'd like to give it fire 1 because semantically that makes more sense. So what I'm gonna do instead is just go to the settings. So I'm gonna go project settings, go to input manager, open up the axis, and I am going to go to jump, and I will leave that alone. I'm just going to delete. Actually, I'll just cut this. Control X, and I'm going to go to fire 1, and then the positive button they have left controller. I'm going to make it space instead because I think that's easier. And that will be it. So now when I hit space bar, now it doesn't require me to use the mouse because right now it was using the mouse. So now if I hit space bar, that fires it, and we can start to make it work. And it resets right there. And oh boy. Okay. Looks good. Okay. So we're getting closer. Let's save that. All right. A lot of convoluted scripting. But hopefully you guys can see kind of what we're doing. All right. Let's just, oh no, wait, we got another hour. Okay, we're good. All right. So now what I want to do is I am going to try and make a real quick, just a menu to start it and end it, just so that way that's set up too. I'm just trying to make the overall thing here. That way, when the game's over, we can have like a end game pop up happen, and then you can get a choice of going back to the first level. So I saved this. I'm just going to do a new scene. So file, new scene. Yeah, we'll just do this. That one's fine. Create, and then I'm just going to save it, and we're just going to call this the start. Okay, and I'm going to take the main camera. And we're going to, again, just do a new style color. And again, it's going to be gray. That's good. Save it. And we just need to add those UI elements. So I'm just going to go here, go to UI, and I'm going to do text first. And we will just call this title. And I'm click over here. And I like to just do it right in the center. That's fine. Let's position it up, let's say 250. That's a lot. Okay, let's say 150. That's a lot too. Let's say 50. Fine, 50. And then I will just call this breakup. Okay. Okay, and we'll just we'll call that good. Let's call that the title. Obviously, I want to spend more time on that. I'll get to more polished stuff at the end. Then we'll just go ahead and we're going to add 2 buttons. So I'm just going to go here and we're going to go to button, and we'll just call this the start button. Open up that text, and I'm just going to write start. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to go on the element above it. Click on this, and I still want it centered. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I'm just going to offset it on X. We'll say -100. And I'm going to take the actual width of it and bring it down because it looks a little bit larger than it needs to be. That looks good. And we'll call that a start button. That looks fine to me. I'm just going to duplicate it, Control D. And we will do 100 for the other position. And we're going to call it the quit button. Okay. And I'm going to open it up, and I'm just going to write quit. Okay, so nothing new there. All right, so we got start button, quit button, and a title. Hang on a second. Why does that look so crappy? There we go, centered. Okay, so we got all those things. Now we just need to make a thing for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and create an empty, and we're just going to call this start screen controller. Instead of calling it game controller, that way it's a little more obvious. And I'm just gonna make a new script specifically for this, just so I don't run into anything that's not running. And we'll just call this start screen script. Open that guy up, and we're just gonna do the same things that we always been doing. So we're gonna do using Unity engine dot oh, that's right, scene manager, scene management, and then using Unity. I was going to do using Unity Entity.ui, but and then sorry, that's using TMP row. Good. Okay. So now we have the bits that we need. We're going to go ahead, and we need something that's going to hold our. Oh wait, I don't even need this because I'm not changing the text. Never mind. That's not necessary. I just need this one. We just need a start game and an end game. We're gonna do it. So start game, we'll call this one, and then this one we'll just call quit game. Quit game. I'll take out that. Okay, and this will be pretty easy. It's just going to be load scene, and then we tell. No, that's not it. Sorry, it's scene manager dot load scene. I think load. I have to look this up. Load scene. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put 1 because this one will be 0. So I'm just going to use the index number instead of, I could do this too. Oops, level 01 because that's the name of the level, but I'll just put 0. So that way it's the first scene. Or sorry, we're going to put 1 because this will be in the index 0. So load scene 1 should work. We'll find out in a second. And then this one was pretty easy. It's just application dot quit, and it receives no arguments. Like that, and we will save it. We'll go back, not there, we'll go back here, and application.
Misspell quit.
Oh, I wrote quite. Application dot quite. Quite indeed. All right, and now we're just gonna slap those on there. So I'm just gonna take the start screen, put on my start game controller, go here, hit the little plus. And we're gonna drag this onto this guy. I'm gonna do this one too, just to get them both. Oops, there we go. Drag this guy into this guy. I'm gonna go back to the first one with a little plus. Why did I hit that? Sorry. I'm gonna hit the function here. Oh, I don't know if you guys remember what I did wrong. You gotta make these public. Public, otherwise we can't access them. Public. Okay, save that again. Go back here. A little bit of a delay. All right, and go back down here. Okay, now start screen, and then we want start game. This one, go here, start screen script, and quit game. Okay, and we'll save this. We're gonna go to File, Build Settings, and we're gonna add open scenes. Great. So now you can see that's the index of 0. Looks good. And I'm just gonna go ahead and open up my other scene, level 1. Actually, let's go back to this one just to make sure it works. Hit play, and I'm just gonna hit start, and it should work. It's obviously gonna need a little more. Oh, because what does it say? Oh, because it has not. Oh, I haven't added anything. So we did need to open up that other one. So let's go back here. Sorry, file, build settings, add open scenes. Okay, now let's go back to start. And hit play, hit start, and that should load up the next scene. Yay, it works. Okay, good. So let's go back to level 1. All right, so now we have a start screen, and that's good. What I would like to do is have it that when we die, it opens up another canvas. We have this canvas that's handling the score and stuff. I want one just for the end screen, just like we do with Pong. It's just nice to have like that basic kind of thing set up. So we'll just go ahead and we're going to create a new canvas. I'm going to do a new canvas altogether. That way everything can just be attached to that canvas, and we'll have the canvas pop up, and it'll allow us to, you know, start the game over or to you know, go back to the start screen that we can quit from. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go to canvas, and we'll call this the end game canvas. Okay, now while I have that selected, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a text mesh pro, and we'll just say end game message. Okay, so that'll be the thing that says, you know, you lost or something. Doesn't really have to be anything in particular. I'm just going to go ahead on this though to make this a little bit easier. I think there was an effect, right? Extra settings, outline, underlay, and I'll expand it, underlay, scale. Let's do 3 and 3. Oh no, that's not, well, let's do 2 and 2. And let's put these back to like 1 and 1. Yeah, it's not making it easy to see. I was hoping that would like be easier to see, but I'm not really seeing it. Okay, let's try outline. Outline. Thickness. That's a little better. Oh, that's weird. It's adding it to all of them. Huh. I'm not really used to these settings, so I'm gonna have to come back to that. At some point, I'm changing. I just couldn't see it because of the screen. Okay, so we'll do end game message. Actually, you know what we could do too to make this a little bit easier? Let's forget all that. All right, let's leave that alone because that was lame. Let's do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this end game message, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make it black, which is kind of hard to see on this, but we didn't use this last time. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna create the UI, and we're gonna do a panel. And we'll just put you know, let's call it gray, and make sure that that's behind this. Okay, so I just dropped it so it's behind this, and that'll gray out everything behind it, make it a little bit easier to see. So I'm gonna click on this, and let's take the alpha and make it a little bit more, just so I can really tell what that is. It's just easier to see things. Okay, now again with this selected, I'm gonna go ahead and add my button. So UI, we'll do a button, and we'll call this the restart, or maybe we'll call it play again button. And then we'll click on, let me see, I think the defaults were fine. So let's do -50. And then we'll do minus 100. And then I'm just going to duplicate this, Control D. And this will be the quit to menu button. All right. And then this one will be 100. Okay. And let's just take the text inside of these, and I'll just say play again, question mark. Where's my question mark? I cannot, oh, right here. Okay, play again. And then this one, take this, and we'll say quit to menu, question mark. All right, so now we've got our buttons, and that's good. Okay, so we're gonna have this pop up, and then that will we can choose to do one or the other. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. Let's make that work. So we're just gonna take it so that this gets turned off and then turns back on when we do our other stuff. So we're gonna do that as part of our game controller script. So that'll all be done inside of our lives. So right now we have it, the total lives of that. We're gonna say else. We're gonna have it do the bits that I'm going to do here. So I need to find that. Let's go ahead. And again, I'm just kind of lazy. So I'm just going to also attach this as a public one. So public, I don't know what the canvas is called. canvas. And then we'll just say game over canvas. I think it is just called canvas, but I'm not sure. It might be like text mesh canvas. We'll find out. Oh, you know what though? Actually, I don't want it as canvas. I want to take the whole object, turn it off, since the other things are parented to it. So that'll make it easier. So game object, game over canvas, and we'll just slap it on there. And what I'm going to do is right on start. Even before we update the UI, we're going to take the game over canvas dot set active, and we're going to give it a good old false. So we're going to say turn off. And then what I'm going to do is if we die, we're going to set it to true. So game over canvas dot set active, and we'll say true. And let's see if this works. So go back here. Good. All right, so let's hit play. Hopefully this thing will turn. Oh, it's not going to work because I never assigned it. Go to my game controller and put this canvas or the game object there. Okay, now we play and it should turn off, hopefully. Yay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is shoot this off and try to die. Yay, it works. Well, I can still move, but you get the idea. Great. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. Now we just need to make some things for this. Okay, so we are going to use that script that we made before, which actually I already have here. All right, so where are you? God, where did it go? Where's that one script? Start screen script. So I'm taking start screen script, and we're gonna go ahead and do a public void load start screen. So we'll make one for that way we can just use the same script again. So this will just again be scene manager dot load scene, and this time this one will load the first, so it'll be 0 because it starts at 0. That will load the start screen. That way I can use that here. It'll be a little bit easier. So we're just going to go ahead and go on to play again, and it's just going to load the same scene we're already in. So, oh, I don't have that script on here. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this start screen script right on my game controller because why not? Slap that on there, and then I'm going to go to the end game. Oh, not end game message. This one, and we'll slap that one. Oops, I didn't put the. Didn't mean to do that. We'll add a little plus again, and we'll slap on this guy as well. And which one's this one? The quit to menu. So we'll do the start screen script, and we'll say load start screen. And then on this one, we will go ahead and we'll just load, not load start screen. It should be start game, and that will just restart the game. Let's just go ahead and make sure all that works. Okay, so fire, fire, fire. I'm too good at my game. Okay, yay. So if we hit play again, yep, loads up. Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Good. Crap. Oh my God. Just die. And then we'll quit the menu. Beautiful. All works. So we can start. We can do the whole game loop. Works pretty well. All right. Okay. So now we've got that going on. I'm actually going to turn this off by default. I wonder if it will be able to find it if I wonder if it's going to give me an error. Looks like not. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save this, make sure everything's all hunky dories. And what do I want to do next? So I would say probably the next thing I want to do, let's go ahead and also on the walls here, let's just make all of these invisible and take their mesh renderers off because we do not need to see those. Say that again. And I think probably the next thing to do is to colorize these randomly, the bricks. Oh, I have like an extra row there I did not notice before. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can delete those because it's going to bother me that I have extra ones.
Hey, John, I just want to say you're absolutely freaking awesome. You made those looks really easy, but I'm going to be definitely just rewatching your video after this. Slowly.
Dude, I wish you could have seen me. Like, so you notice how I can just type it? That's a very recent thing for me. Like back in the day, man. Trust me, like for a couple of years. So don't feel like, oh. And even still, like, I don't know if you see, like now and then I still look over to check. It's just I've done this enough times now. It's like anything else. You do it a bunch, you start to. So I appreciate it, but that's why I'm making the video, so that way I know I'm kind of running through it fast, but that way the video will be short and you can pause it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that link still available on the Discord? So if anybody wants to get to that file for all the videos I have recorded so far?
Okay. I don't know.
And
I'm
message.
recording it too, so I'll try to put mine on Facebook. If you can put yours on there, that would also, or not Facebook, YouTube. If you can put yours on there, that would be cool.
Oh, you have a YouTube channel. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I am now going to work on doing these, making these a little bit better. So that would be the brick script, which of the scripts we have is kind of the lamest one. So here's what we're going to do. We need to set up. I think we should randomly decide what the brick should be. And then from there, we can start to make some decisions. So I would say, I'm just going to shoot for 3 types just because it's a lot easier to do 3. So we'll do 3 types of bricks. One that's worth 1 point, one that's worth 3 points, and one that's worth 5 points. And then like one you hit once, the other one you hit twice, and the other one hit 3 times. I feel like that would be a good scale. Okay. And we'll do that purely based on point value. So what we'll do is we'll say on start, I'm going to go ahead and set the point value. So we're going to make point value equal to random dot range, and it'll be a range from, I think I need to do 0 to, let's try 1 to 3. And I don't know if I have to do 2 int. I don't know if that's like I feel like that's something I would have to do because random range is going to give me a float, I think. Let's see. This I'm going to have to look up, to be honest. Yeah, see, it's already giving me crap here. So int is not getting definition for 2 int. No accessible. Okay, maybe I don't have to do 2 int. Let me take it out. I'd rather not have to do it anyway. Control S. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit play. And then I'm gonna hit pause. And what I'm gonna do is go over here and see if my bricks have different values. So point value is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Yeah. So I think what I have to do is go to 4 because it's not, I think it's probably doing like the floor or something. So we'll do 2, 4. Now it would be even better, to be honest, like I'm going to just do this like just purely that it's going to be the same. But it would be better if I did it that like just fewer of the 3 ones and fewer of the, you know what I mean? I don't know if this is even, yeah, I might have to stop it and play it again. Let's hit play again. So there's a 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So it looks like that's pretty even, I would say. Right. So we'll just do that. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is, let me just put this over here. And I'm going to see, I've started working on a project that maybe might be helpful. Where are you? And I forget it. Okay. Okay. So that seems to be working. That's good. So now they have the point value. I can use that point value to more or less determine, you know, what I want them to be. Okay. So maybe we should do actually is do a function called like, you know, set brick value. Okay. And then I'll put that inside of it. That way it's just, again, it just set brick value. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? All right. And then we'll just run that. I'm gonna put this in here. So Control X, delete. Okay. So we're gonna set the value first. Then what I want to do is I got to set the color. Now for this, I do not remember. So I'm actually going to steal from when we did that ball roller thing. Let's look at my scripts. Where are you? Assets, scripts, and block script. Okay. So see, here's my block script, and I'm just going to look at the thing. So we need to get the renderer. Okay. So we'll do, let's go ahead and just set that up here first. And we'll do, okay, so I need to do the renderer. So we'll do private renderer, I think it's like that. And then we'll say brick R. And then that should be on awake, void awake. Okay. And then we'll just say brick R is going to be equal to get component. Oops. Renderer. Okay, boom. Okay, so we'll get the renderer, stick that in there. What else did we need? I don't need the animator. We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything with the rigid body. All that doesn't matter. So then we just did red destroy block. Okay. So now this is where I set the color here. So I'm just going to grab this whole little bit here. Control C. And we're going to go here. And inside of this, we're going to, let me see if I can find this other thing else. What's the other thing I wanted? Come on. Nope. No, where are you? Okay. So we're going to do something that Anson's been wanting to do for a while. We're going to use a switch. And what we're going to do, we're going to test the point value. So this will just be a thing. So a switch basically is kind of like an if else. It's another kind of condition testing.
A better
thing.
way to think of it is think of it as a plug board, right? You plug it in, check if it runs. If it doesn't run the way that it wants it to be, just unplug it, put it into the next board. That's basically what a switch case is. In the case that this is true, it runs.
So basically we do a switch. We're going to test this point value, right? So if you remember, the point can be either a 1, a 2, or a 3. And we say case, if the point value is 1, it's going to run what's in here. If it's 2, it's going to run what's here. If it's 2, 3, it's going to run here. One of the things that's
don't forget to add a break on each and every one of those.
I was gonna say the key thing is we have to do a break after each one. That's how it knows to stop. Otherwise, it would probably throw an error, I would imagine.
It would.
But it that basically tells it to break the loop and get the hell out of there. It's kind of like return, although we haven't really done return yet. So I'm just
It would
gonna go
throw
ahead
a spill error.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put a break on each one of these. What did I just do? Control V, enter.
You
Control
just closed your files. That's it.
Good. I don't even need that anyway. I should have done that earlier. Okay. So we're gonna say if it's case 1, what I want to do is I copied. Where's that script? I had that one block script. Oh, right here. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put that in here. So basically, if it's case 1, we're gonna say block R material dot color. Block R. Funny, I did brick, not block. So we'll say brick R material dot color, and we're gonna make a new color, and then I gave it all these things. So we're just gonna go ahead, and if you remember, so it's RGB. So we'll make the first one red. So I'll do 0 or 1, 0.
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear who you were. Who are you from? I didn't understand what you said.
What are you talking about? Are you talking to me? I think he's talking to somebody else. Okay. So brick R material, new color. So basically it's going to make it red.
I understand, but I'm having a hard time understanding what company are you with?
Control C. And so I'm going to do that for this one. And then we will do actually,
Management?
let me just save this first to make sure that that even doesn't give me an error.
Plans?
32. Is that because I don't have anything in there?
Freelance management.
32. Must have. Well, it didn't give me an error for this, so we'll just go ahead and I'm just going to set.
Let me see if she's available first. Give me just a moment because I'm working on something. Hold on.
And this one, and then this one will be 1. So basically, if you remember, it's RGB. So basically, it's going to be red, green, blue. We could do yellow as well, which would be these two. So we could do multiple ones, but we'll just do this to start with. Okay, so set brick value. start set brick value. Let me see. All right, I don't know why it was mad. Method must have a return type. Oh, I just wrote set brick. Duh. Okay. Void set brick value. Okay. So now we'll do this. And when we hit play, hopefully they'll be different colors. I don't remember if I put it to run. I think I did. Yay. So now they're all different colors. And if I stop it and hit play again, you should see they'll be, again, different colors. So it's totally random. I feel like we got a lot of red, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. We could probably keep track of it. But there's ways of trying to make this more one or the other. But for time's purposes, we're going to call that good. Okay.
She has to go.
So now we do have that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to set the numbers of hits. So I think what we could do. All right. So we have this on collision enter. I think I'm just going to set up that an if statement that says like, we'll just tie it to the brick value, right? So hang on one second. Okay, point value is going to be this. Case 1, 2, 3. We'll say if see, I got to do a new variable. So we'll do no, but see, it's the same value, so it doesn't matter. So we'll say we'll do so you're going to hit it, and then we're going to do point. Yeah, but that'll take away the value of the points, which I don't want to do. So yeah, we're gonna have to make another value. So I'm gonna do another public. It actually doesn't need to be public. Private. This one doesn't need to be public either, for that matter. But I just made it public so we could tell. In fact, actually, I'm gonna take that out and make it private again. Private. Private int, and we'll say, oops, no, thank you. Hit num, and we'll set that to initial value of 1 as well, even though we're gonna literally immediately get rid of it. So we set the brick value, and I'm just going to go ahead and also set the hit num to, oh, you know what? We'll do it based down here, actually. So basically, if it's 1, the hit num will be equal to 1. And we'll just copy that, Control C. This one, the hit num will be equal to 2, and Control V, the hit num will be equal to 3. Oh, you know what though? I don't really want to do it by point value, because I actually want the points to be oh, you know what? So we'll do by point value, and then what I'll do is this runs on start, right? I'll just reset the point value as well. So we'll just do point value. I know it already says it's 1, so it doesn't matter, but I'm just gonna do it anyway just to keep it the same. And then this one's point value, I'm gonna set equal to 3. And then the last one's point value we'll set equal to 5. And that way we'll see different values for each of them. So that should work. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to take the hit num. So we're going to say hit num minus minus, right? So if we hit it, we're going to take that hit number and subtract 1. And we're going to say if the hit num is less than or equal to 0. Now I know we could just do equal 0, but like when you do less than, I just feel like you end up with less errors, because otherwise it has to be exactly 0. And I know it should be exactly 0, but it's one of those things where like when you've done this enough times, you're like, that's an error that will pop up sometimes, or it'll act weird. Okay, so now it'll take that number of hits, and when it becomes that, it should just destroy it. So let's see. Oh, and point that. Oh yeah, it should give me the more points for the, yeah, because we set that up. Okay, good. So that should work now. Let's see how this goes. Okay, So blue RGB, this one should be the worth the most. So I'm gonna hit it 1, 2, 3, and that gave me 5 points. That only gave me 1. That should give me 3, so that should be 15. Or I don't know. These numbers aren't getting bigger, are they? Not sure. Okay, that gives me 1. Oh boy. Okay, so this should give me 1. Oh.
Evan,
What?
Okay.
are you in the bathroom?
I feel like that one's getting killed with just 1, and that should be 2 hits. Let me see. Let me find a green one. Oh no, it's going with 2. That should be 1. This should be 2. 1, 2. This one should be 3. 1, 2, 3. I feel like the score is quite right though. Hitting on point value 5. Oh no, it was 5. That's why I kept thinking it was 3. Okay. All right. Well, then that should be good, right? I feel like that's all good. Okay. So now we've got a system here that's going to set these brick values and it sets the colors, which should all be pretty good. Now it could use a couple other ding dong dangs here to make this look a little bit better. Like it would be nice if for some reason that we were able to like change the colors slightly depending on what they are. I guess we could try to take the render color overall and make it lower. So let's say we do, let's see, it would be after this, it would be this color thing here. So let's grab this guy. Take this. Okay, so we'll take the brick material, its color, make a new color. And okay. I want to take its current color, but then add a little bit to it. I'm going to come back to this because this will take some time. But that would be better if we like made it a little bit darker every time we hit it, or made it a little bit brighter. That's something I think would make sense. But instead, I'm going to leave that alone for now because I feel like there was something else I wanted to do before I did that. Oh, the audio and the particles and all that other garbage. So just because that's something you guys should do on yours. So let's just do a quick bit of audio here. I'm just going to see if I can steal some audio from when we did Pong. I'm just going to literally take it from Pong because that will be easier than trying to go grab music and stuff. But you guys should go find music. You should be able to find stuff. Where's my Pong? Where's my Pong? There it is. All right. And assets, audio. So we're just, I'm going to make a new folder here. New folder, create folder. We'll call it audio. And then we'll take this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and I'm just going to slap them all inside of there. Okay. And now we have all these. So we don't have any. Oh, there's the music. Okay. I'm just going to use the same music. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap the music right onto the game controller. And I'm going to take the volume way low though, because, not priority, volume. I'm gonna take the volume way down because I don't really care. And we'll leave it on loop. So that way when we play, it'll just loop. And I think I have that. Right. It's not great, but that way it plays. All right. Now what we need to do is just add it to the various things, right? So let's take the ball bounce one. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna slap that onto the ball. I just drag it on there. It automatically makes me an audio source. So we don't have to worry about that. I want to turn off play on awake. So it's on there, but it's not actually playing. And then score A, score B. So let's also do, let's bounce. Okay, let's do the paddle one. So I'm going to go to the paddle and we're going to take the paddle and I'm just going to drag it on there. Again, it automatically makes it for me, but I'm going to turn off play on awake. And then score A and score B. So we only really need score A. And we will put that onto our score text because that'll just be easier to do. So where are you? Score A. Where are you? Score text. There we go. Okay. And again, we're going to put that one also not play on awake. And I'm just going to hook those up real quick so you can remember how to do those and it'll be part of this thing here. Particles works the same way. Okay, so on the ball controller script, it's going to go up to the top here, and we're just going to go ahead and grab it. So we'll say private, and this will be, I think it's audio source, like that, and we'll just say ball A. Ball A. Wow, look at that. That is not anywhere near correct. Okay, so private. So then we'll just go ahead and do ball A, and that will be equal to get component, and the component we're going to get is going to be an audio source. Bless it. There we go. And there. Okay, so now we're just going to use that, and we're going to play it every time we hit. So I'm just literally going to take this, Control C, going to go to where we want it to play, and it's going to be when we do on. Oh, I don't have an on collision enter, so we're going to add an on collision enter before this on collision exit, and that's where we're going to play our particles and our audio, such as it were. And we'll just do that, and it's just dot play. That should be it. And let's just make sure that works, because that's how I think all of them go. And voila. So now when the ball hits something, theoretically, it should. Beautiful, right? Works great. Okay, so now we're just gonna do that for the rest of them. And if we have time, we can do like we do with Pong, we change the pitch, but for now we're gonna call that good. So the other one that needs to do it is the not start screen. Where's the it'd be player controller is what it is. So player controller, it's gonna be literally the same thing again. Private audio source, and we'll just call it player A. And then it's just gonna be player A is equal to get component. It's gonna be audio source. Okay, and then we're just gonna play it when we don't have one for it. So we could do a special one for shoot ball. That'd be kind of cool. But we're just going to put in an on collision enter. So void, oops, void on collision enter, and then it's collider, oops, collider, COL. Actually, sorry, that's collision. Collision. Did I do that on the other one? I feel like I didn't. Oh, I thought you had to have the collision. It worked without it. Oh, weird. Let's take that off, because why bother? I thought it had to. Okay, let's see if this works still. Then it's going to be what is this one? Oh, player A, and then we'll dot play. Play, like so. Control S. And let's also have this play when we shoot, because I feel like that makes sense. So on shoot, if we go ahead and do shoot, we'll also put it here. Okay, so put back here. Hit play. Yep. Great. Okay, so that works. And then the last one was the score. I think score A. So that one's gonna be a little bit different just because it's when we actually score. So we're gonna game controller script, and we have this part over here where we update the UI. So we want to do it on score. So here's update lives. We haven't done anything to add lives, so we could do like after a certain number of points, run update lives, and then have it. Let's do that actually. That'd be cool. So we'll say but I'd have to do it every whatever point. Well, if I got time, probably don't. Okay, so it does update UI, so that's update score. Man, I don't want it to do. We'll do it on when we die, because I feel like that makes more sense. Because otherwise it's going to be constantly going ding, 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 like we're going to be scoring all the time. So we'll just put it on the update lives instead, just so you get the idea of how that works. So actually, it's exactly the same as when the other ones run. So there really isn't anything special about this, but we'll just do it again for fun. Private audio source, and we'll just call it score A. Actually, it's a terrible name. So we'll just say score A equals to get component, and the component is going to be audio source, and then we're going to do that. And that looks good. I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to have it that when you, I still call this score too, which I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, we'll just put it in here. Whatever. I don't care. Dot play. Okay. Control S. So we'll see if we die. So it'll do it for lives and deaths, but we could set it up so it would just be deaths, or just lives. No, it didn't do anything. That's disappointing. What did I do wrong? Oh, I did on the game controller script. Never mind. It is going to be a little bit different than the others. There is no audio source on. That's why I kept resetting. That makes sense. I'm an idiot. Okay. So we actually need this to not be that. We need it to be attached to this text mesh, whatever. So on the update, I'm going to take it out of here and not put it in there. And instead, I'm going to put it on. Actually, no, I will leave it there. Sorry. And what I'm going to do is say that lives text dot game object dot get component audio source. That looks weird. Maybe that's right. I don't know. Audio source dot, oops, like this dot play. And I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need to do this at all anymore because we're not doing anything with that. Get rid of this all in here. Okay. So now it just says game object. Hopefully that will work. Let's see. Control S. See if we did the right thing here. Play. Let's move this over. Oh, cannot, value cannot be found. So, God bless it. Parameter name source. Let's go back here. Okay, so lives text dot game object dot get component play. What's wrong with you? Lives text. Oh, I put on the score text. That's why. Remove component. Let's slap it on the other one. So lives text. Try again. Ah, crap. It's going to play it from the, well, we'll turn it off. There it goes. Okay. Let's turn off the play on awake. Okay, good. Save that. Okay, so I think that's all the audio. Yay, that worked pretty simply. Not a big deal. Okay, the other thing I want to do are particles. So when it hits, it does the particles because that's semi-complicated. So let's go ahead and make that. So we're going to go to effects. We're going to do particle system, and we'll just call this ball hit particles. Okay, and I can see them there. And I am really quickly going to go through this because let's hit after frame, just because I ain't got a lot of time. So what I would suggest with this, and I think I mentioned this before, we'll do like 0.1 and then looping. I do not want it to loop. Start delay, start lifetime, start speed. Let's do like 100. Let's restart. Let's see, simulation speed, gravity modifier. Play on awake, that's fine. Max particles, emissions, rate over time. Here we go. This is what I wanted, 100, not the speed. Star speed, I think was 5. That's probably fine. There we go. This is a puff. And then it lives for like ever. Okay, where's the start lifetime? Let's make it 1. It's kind of a lot. Start lifetime, let's make it 0.5. Good enough. Okay. Emission rate over time shape. Okay. So I'm just going to change this and we're going to go ahead and you know what? We'll just, okay. We'll call that good enough. What I mentioned before, just because I'm worried about time here, is when you go to do this, I would literally just go online and like look up like Unity make fire particles or something. And then you'll find like cool tutorials. Just literally make them, follow what they do, and then just apply them. Okay. What I'm going to do though is go ahead and I'm going to, do the best I can. So I'm going to take this, and if you remember, we parent it to the ball, and I'm going to 0, 0, 0.
I'm gonna have to leave a little bit early. I just
Okay.
got on carpool duty and I didn't know.
You got what?
Carpool duty. So I gotta go pick up. Like
I thought you said carpal duty, like you got
No.
tunnel.
no, not yet.
Okay.
All right.
All right, man.
Later.
See ya. Okay, so we got those particles going on there, so that's good. And we just need to make them play and all that other hunky-dory stuff. So let's go ahead and go to our script. Let's see if I can get this done real quick. Ball controller script. So I need to store it. So we'll go ahead and do a private. I think it's particle system. And we'll just call it ball P. Probably not the best name. Ball particles. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and we need to attach it here. So we'll call it ball P is equal to get component in children, because if you remember, it's not in this one, it's in the it's parented to it, and that's going to be particle system. Voila. Okay, so now we've attached the particle system to that. That's good. And first thing we want to do is actually unparent it, which we had done before in previous things. So we'll just say, I wonder if actually if I could leverage? Oh no, because that does it to the paddle. Because remember we had the set paddle parent. I'm like, maybe I could just use that again. But if I had made that set parent, if I had said it that you give it two variables, like the object that you're parenting to, as well as we could have like used that multiple times, which in the future, maybe that's how I would do it. But what we'll do instead is we'll just remove it here. So we'll just say ball P will ball P dot transform. I'm sorry, is it transform? Yes, it's just transform. What does your bad do game object first? Set parent, and we're gonna set it to null. So we're gonna unparent it, okay? Because I don't want it to move with it, if you recall. And basically what we want to do is on the collision enter, we just want to go ahead and use that as a way of making the particles play. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is unparent it. Then on the collision enter, we'll do it after the audio plays. We're going to do this. So it's a whole big thing. And quite literally, I would not know how to write this if I didn't already have it written. Contact point, and it's gonna be CP for contact point. And we're gonna see COL dot get contact. And the contact position we're gonna get is at 0. And then we're gonna say ball P dot transform dot position. So remember we unparented it, so we're gonna have it up here where the position of the contact is. So we're gonna take its position and make it CP dot point. It's just a special thing that's built into this contact point function. We're gonna do that, and we're also going to set the orientation. So it's gonna be transform dot forward, and that's going to be equal to CP dot normal. So it's in it's lowercase normal. That's, remember, there's the normal direction of the faces that it hits. That's what that's going to be. And then we're just going to go ahead and tell it to play. Ball P dot play, and it's just like audio in that way, where it's pretty simple. Okay, like that. I think that's all I need. So let's go ahead and try that real quick and go here. Now, of course, there's errors. Let's see. COL does not contain. Okay. Oh, because I didn't put it in there. Remember, I was like, oh, I don't need to put it in there, but now we're actually using it. Collision COL. Okay. All right. Now we'll hit play, and let's see if this works. It's probably the greatest looking particles you ever seen in your life. I know. These look terrible. It's pretty bad, but I have the base there. So if I want to do more with it, I could add more to the particles, right? Okay. I feel like we have a complete game at this point. I didn't animate any components. That would probably be good to do too. God, I really would like to do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that real quick too. Okay, so we got the particle going. Imagine I did a good job. I know it's not easy, but just imagine I did. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna create a new folder for animations. All I'm gonna do is set up just animations for this getting hit, and that's it, because I just don't have enough time, I think, to do more than that. So let's go ahead and add the paddle, and I'm gonna go to Window, Animation, and I just slap that guy right on in here. And I'm on the paddle, make sure, then hit create. And we're gonna put this animations, and we'll just say, we're gonna have to make 2 because we have to have 2 to go from. So we'll say paddle idle. Okay, and we're gonna add a property, and we're just gonna do exactly like before. So we're gonna add scale, and we're gonna add another property, and that's gonna be the mesh renderer, like that. All right, and I'm just gonna delete the second ones, and we're just gonna leave it like that. That's all I want, because I need to have a rest position as well as the hit position. So then we'll do another one, and we'll call this the paddle hit. Okay, and same properties, transform, scale, and mesh render. Now, mind you, you could do any number of things. I'm just doing these two. You could definitely do things that were a lot cooler. I'm gonna hit record, and let me see. So we'll just have it happen to 1, 2, we'll say 3. And I'm gonna drag this one down. So we'll say it happens in here. I'm gonna scroll in. We want to have them pretty quick. So let's say 3, and then we'll put this at 6. That way it's halfway. Okay. Actually, we'll go to 2. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's frame this guy, and I'm already recorded, so I can actually just go ahead and scale it this way instead of using these numbers that we normally do. So I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit and squish it a little bit. So that way it goes boink. Okay. That's pretty good. And then the other thing I want to do is are these here. So just to, so I'm just going to go over here, go down to its color, click on this guy, and we'll have it change to, let's have it go red, I guess. All right. Just like that. So it goes boink. All right. Looks like it's getting hurt. Okay. And that should probably be, let's drag this over 1, because it should go fast and then back out. So let's hit play. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Now I'm going to do is go to I need the animator. So we're going to go window, animation, animator. Okay, so now you can see we have our initial thing. Idle, I definitely want to be here. And then we're going to go from any state, because at any moment I can get hit, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to make transition. It just goes back to idle. Now we only really need one parameter, because I'm just going to test hit. And then after this is hit, it's just going to go here and sit there forever until it gets hit again. So I'm going to go to parameters, hit this. I'm going to go ahead and do a trigger, and I'm just going to call it hit. All right. And we're going to have this little guy here, the arrow selected, this, and we're going to say hit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of these things. Actually, let's do a fixed duration. We don't want anything for the transition duration, but I'm going to do 0.75. I might need to adjust that. Oh, actually, no, I want that on this one. So this one, I don't have to do anything. I'm going to leave has exit time. I'm going to take the fixed duration off, and so that it just immediately goes exit time. Let's do 0.75. Okay, actually, let's do 1 so that it runs the whole animation first, and then it will go to the thing. Okay. So it should hit it and then come back, and that should be good. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the project, I'm going to go to my animations. Okay. And I want to take the paddle hit and make sure it's not looping. So it just plays once and then it goes to the next bit. Okay. So that should be good. Now I just need to use code to make sure this hit goes off, which will make this go off, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go over here, and we're going to go to the paddle controller, go up to the top here, and we need to add a private animator, and we'll just call it player anim. And just like the other things, we're going to say player anim is equal to get component, and it will be an animator. Okay, like so. Oops, not that. There we go. And what we're going to do is when we have an on collision enter and it's playing that, we're just going to go ahead and set that trigger. So we're going to say player anim dot set trigger, and the trigger we want to set is going to be called hit, and that should be it. That's all we really need to do. We're going to go back here. Hopefully we have no errors. Go here, we'll hit play, and hopefully it will, glow red when we get hit. Yay. Now I might need some adjustments as far as the timing and stuff is concerned, but now we've officially done something there.
I think you need a bigger paddle too.
What is this, Jaws? Here's the thing though, I can't change the paddle size now because I did it on the object itself. So if I try to change the paddle, it's going to get all like Funky Town USA. So so you'd have to make sure that it's exactly the size that you want to start with. Yeah, it does seem a little short. I could also increase the speed. I think one of the things I would do personally is I'd have to look it up because I don't remember how to do it. I would probably take it so that it actually moved with the mouse. Because I think that's how it worked in the original one, wasn't it? I think you used the mouse to go back and forth. It's really
Kinda,
hard
yeah.
with the horizontal keys. So I would probably set the position to the mouse position on the X and use that. But this is good enough for now. But I think, right, we have a complete game. I did that in when we started 1, so 3 hours, less than 3 hours. So there you go. Yay. So I know that was probably a really boring.
I just
wouldn't say boring, just hard to
refactored my
keep up.
entire Pong.
So hopefully you get an idea. I didn't have a plan, so there's a bunch of this that's pretty that's honestly a little messy, where like, I don't know, I would do some things differently, but you know, it's all there. So one way or another, should hopefully see that. I'm gonna stop the recording.